Afternoon, everybody. This is Jim Renfro with the Leads Geeks. And today I have Pete, Eric, and Cody is on a call right now, and Ryan is here as well. And so today we're going to talk about kind of that handoff from ISA to agent, how that process works. So Eric and Pete are going to role play. Pete is going to be the customer. Excuse me, guys. Eric is going to be the ISA. So Eric, here is your situation. You've talked to Pete for a while. He is looking for a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. He's renting right now. His price range is $250. He is sick of renting. He has upstairs neighbors, and he is pre-approved buyer, and he wants to buy in the next 3 months. So I'm going to have you role play how you would kind of transition that, close it, and then do that handoff from the ISA to the agent. So whenever you're ready, Eric, take it away.
And motivation is just him wanting to get out of renting?
Yep, they're running out of space. They have 2 kids and only have a 2-bedroom place.
Gotcha.
Month-to-month lease.
Yep.
All right, good to go. Pete, so right now you're renting a the little 2-bedroom home, living with neighbors above, below, and to the side of you. One thing we've done for a lot of first-time home buyers that are looking to get out of the renting game, get their own place, and move into something with a little more space is just have a meet with one of my agents and come up with that game plan, get you into some homes, get you looking, and make sure you have someone there to help you throughout the whole process. Is that something that sounds like it could help right now?
It does. You're not the person that I'm going to meet with, though?
Nope. I manage all the agents, so I would set you up with one of my buyer's agents. We work on a team structure here. So if people are selling homes, that's all they specialize in, and then we have another team that just helps buyers find that right home.
Okay. So I know we're ready to go pretty quick. Is this something where you guys are just going to show us your listings, or how does that work?
We're going to show you all the listings that meet your criteria, Pete. So I can set you up with Kyle tomorrow, anytime in the afternoon or evening, whatever works best for you. We can go as late as about 8 p.m. and we also work weekends as well if that works better.
Okay, awesome. It does work well, but the wife and I only have a little bit of time, and we really wanted to see this one place. Can we just meet Kyle at the house and then come into the office afterwards if we like the house?
Well, Pete, I don't want to waste your time, looking at houses that don't all fit there. So what we found out works really well is if we narrow down the search here in the office, and then we can stack up 2 or 3 showings one after another. So you're not eating up like a whole Saturday of your free time looking at homes that don't even fit your criteria. But we can definitely set up a showing for this right after you meet with Kyle here in our office.
Okay, so we meet with Kyle for half hour or so, and then we can go check out this one house?
Yep, it depends on how many questions you have. Usually these take about 30 minutes to an hour. And then we can go take a look at this house. And if you have any others that are on your wish list to go take a look at, he can set those showings up as well.
Okay, yeah, sounds good.
All right, so I'll send an email to petetheman@gmail.com. And that'll have all the confirmation. Do you know where our office is located at, Pete?
No, I don't.
So we're down on 42nd Street, just south of the new Bethany Homes nursing home facility, and that's a little further south of the Red River Zoo. But I'll shoot you our address in a text to this cell phone number, and it'll also be in that confirmation email.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, really, I mean, all I need is the address, right? You don't need to give me turn-by-turn directions, so that'll work.
Yep, I'll just send you the address.
All right, sounds good.
All right, well, we look forward to seeing you and Gina here tomorrow.
All righty. Thanks.
All right, thanks, Pete.
All right. So Pete, what was good about that was what didn't you like?
So it's good. I think he handled it well. As far as me saying, I just want to meet at the house, and he turned back and said, well, we don't want to waste your time. We can set it up. I think the point of what he's saying is right on, right? Because we don't want to waste their time. I think it could have been said a little bit nicer, but that's I mean, we didn't go over the whole conversation, right? I mean, who knows how I was before or after. It just seemed more business-like, but really the point of this call is what our process is, and I think he did that well and handled the objection well. How you say things is based off of the whole conversation, and we didn't hear that. So no, I think he did well. He blocked it and said the reason for coming back in the office is saving time. Made sure I knew where the office was and set expectations, right? Said, all right, you're going to get an email saying this is what's going to happen next, and we'll see you. So I think he did good.
Yeah. Eric, what questions you got, or feedback, or self-feedback?
Yeah, it seemed a little not as smooth when I said, well, we don't want to waste your time. Looking at that home was kind of inferred. I think I could have worded it a little better and said, well, in order to save your time, what we found works better is if you take a look at these homes, narrow it down, and then stack up those showings one after another, so you're not wasting a whole bunch of your time. That makes it a little, it was a little, I don't know, abrasive the way I said it, I think. So I could have worded it a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, you could have worded it a lot better, but let's really talk about kind of the important stuff, which was we look at that agent's calendar. We're going to see who is available. We're going to let them know what agent they're going to work with. We're going to talk about they're the experts. They're the people that you need to meet with. It's not going to be us. We're here to provide that first point of contact and really find out your exact needs, and then hand you off to that professional and that expert. And I think when people do that, it just sets that stage a lot better. So I would say for, tips for people when they're coming into this and doing this handoff, it should be, who are you meeting with? When are you meeting? Where are you meeting? And why are you meeting? If you just say, hey, they're just going to come in, you're going to meet with one of my agents, and they don't have any idea who they're meeting with. That's the number one thing I've noticed with a lot of ISAs and agents in the country is, why you just come to our office at 3:30, we'll have someone here for you. That doesn't give them any personalization and let them know who. So some of the big things that we've noticed is you have to put this on their agent's calendar so they're notified, so they make that intro call right away, hopefully within that first 3 hours. We used to have a standard of 24 hours, and I think we're going to have to be changing that because people want that immediate response. They want to know they're going to be taken care of. So first and foremost, who are they meeting with? Put it on that agent's calendar. That agent should do an intro call. If you can, as the ISA, I would send an intro call as that agent, because the immediate feedback right away saying, hey, I'm really excited to looking forward, or a bomb video as well. That'd be really good. And then an intro call, a reminder call the day of. Eric and Pete, why do you guys think a reminder call the day of is important from that agent?
Day of the appointment?
Yep.
It depends, in a perfect world, you're setting these appointments within 48 hours, the next day or the day afterwards. It doesn't always work out like that. In a perfect world, agents are doing the follow-up and connecting with the customer right away. But if there's any lag time, like a day in between when the agent talks to them, and especially if they don't actually speak voice to voice, having that reminder of calling that day, and just, even if it's just leaving a voicemail and saying, hey, we spoke yesterday, I'm looking forward to seeing you here at 3:00, is just one more point of contact to make sure that person is actually coming in. And on the off chance something came up and they actually get a hold of them, they could reschedule it right there, as opposed to the person just doing a no-show and then that person feeling bad because they're North Dakota nice and going somewhere else.
Yep. No, that makes sense. Ryan, Eric, you have anything to add to that?
So when I first started, I frequently made the mistake of saying, well, no, I'm not an agent, or, well, I'm not a buyer's agent, or something along the line of, well, I'm going to put you with someone a lot more experienced than me. And I didn't do a good job of taking ownership of that. But instead, now I'm kind of at that point where I'll tell them, well, I manage the agents, and I'm going to set you up with Kyle, who has a ton of experience working with first-time home buyers. I think you'll be a really good fit for him, and he's going to help you find that 4-bed, 2-bath home. Kind of reiterate their criteria and give them that warm fuzzy inside.
Yeah, definitely. Ryan, you have anything to add on that?
Nope. Eric said it all. Thanks.
Yep. Okay. Cody, you just got off a call. So, Cody, talk to me how you did that agent handoff. Did you book an appointment?
I did book an appointment, and sorry, I forgot I was hosting today. How did you guys get this started, actually?
Apparently, I could start it because I'm an idiot. So.
Oh, well, sweet. Yeah, it went well. So this, she's living out in Portland right now, and her son just had a baby, has a baby on the way rather. It's going to be due in July, and she's looking for a little condo. Or small townhome that she and a few of the relatives could use. Was kind of a layup because it was a cash offer, just needs to be kind of handled with discretion because they don't get over here a lot of the time. So basically what's got to happen is, she's not working with anybody. She knows she needs to work with somebody because she's not boots on ground here in Fargo. And they also need to keep a lot of balls up in the air with living out in Portland and also, having a baby on the way, and they can't just be traveling, back and forth to do showings. So basically we got her son on the line and got her son to kind of help out with the showings. She's ready to sign paperwork. So in this instance, the agent is going to be doing a phone consult with him. But she intends to sign paperwork. She's ready to go. And the son will do some of the showings to help pre-qualify some of those places. And then what meets the son's checkoff list, if you will then go over to mom, and we'll add that to the showing list, and she'll be ready to put an offer in once she spends some time in town here in about a month or so.
Gotcha. So how did you position that agent as the expert?
So one of the things that she had a lot of questions about, about condos, about townhomes. And I think one of the best pieces of advice as an ISA that I ever got was from one of our buyer's agents, which was just let the agents be the experts. It's okay for me to say, hey, you know what, I don't know, but I have a resource for you. And I always, try to chalk up the agents and make sure that they understand. I use the nurse to the doctor analogy. I've got a very general overview and I understand a lot of things about the market. However, if, you want to be working with that specialist and that expert, and I'm gonna get you access to them. So.
Awesome. So let's kind of go full circle here and let's talk about the listing side as well. Because our process is a little bit different. We have a listing partner that we send out to the house first, and then have that person come into the office as well. So let's skip the close and everything else, and let's just get down to the nitty gritty. Cody, you mind volunteering for that?
Sure.
Okay, so basically you've already met with me. I'm bought into the concept of sitting down for an appointment. Why don't you talk about how you would talk to me, and I'm going to be meeting with Mark. So kind of go through that process and explain it.
Okay. So Jim, tell me, we've talked about your home and it sounds great. We know you're excited to list, what I think would be the best way to do it, and tell me if you think this would benefit you, is we usually like to split it up into two pieces. So first and foremost, we have one of our property specialists come out. That would be Kirsten. She comes through and takes a walk through the house with you, takes a few photos and kind of learns about the house from your perspective, and gets to see any of the updates and some of the work that you did in there firsthand. And kind of gets a full picture and idea of everything we've already talked about. And she brings those photos and that information back to the listing agent. Then the listing agent then is able to sit down and kind of get an idea of the home and kind of help figure out that marketing plan and everything. And that's the point where we would bring you into the office for a consult, and you guys can kind of figure out the direction that things are going to go, and kind of take it from there. Does that sound like something that would benefit you?
Yeah, I mean, what, you guys just don't come to the house?
Yeah, so we would send a property specialist out first to go to the home.
Why is that?
I'm going to pause there.
Okay. Yeah. So I think it's really, really hard to do these closes without having the prior 10 minutes conversation. So I think, for us, something I always say is, I'd say something like, so Cody, obviously, yeah, like you said, you want to sit down and talk. Here's our process. I'm going to send Kirsten out to the place first. What she's going to do is she's going to go look around the house. She's going to look for anything that needs to be addressed with pricing or condition before we put it on the market, and anything we can really use to market the property really, really well, to get it sold quickly. From there, I'm going to have you come in and meet with Mark in the office. The reason we have it set up this way is so we can go in, check out your house, look at the value and the condition, and then have you come in and look on the big screen with us and show you everything that's sold in your neighborhood, as well as what the absorption rate is in your neighborhood, because we're going to show you that way what the price is, as well as how quickly we can get your house sold. With that in mind, when sometimes we can get together and have Kirsten come out, as well as have you sit down with Mark. Make sense?
So as a different one, and again, to reiterate what Jim said, it's dependent on how the conversation goes before, right? Jim, you used terms like absorption rate and other things, which might not necessarily work out for the seller. Sellers are obviously very worried about selling, so I think as much information as you can give them is good. But the reality is if you're closing this appointment, you've already talked to them for 10 or 15 minutes and I think have won their trust. So I like to end it on a positive kind of note and just keep it simple and say, all right, hey, Jim, you've given me all this information about your house. This is great. What we do is we're going to have Mark's listing partner, Kirsten, come out to your house, take a few pictures, take a look around and make some notes. Don't worry. Pictures aren't going to be what we use to list it. So you don't have to worry about, getting it clean or anything. She's then going to take that information back to Mark, and then you guys can come in the office and Mark's going to do some research on the houses in the area along with the notes that Kirsten took, and then be able to have that conversation with you about what he thinks the right price is and what, if anything, needs to be addressed before you guys go on market. Is that something that would help out?
Yeah,
basically
I like that.
the same thing, just not terms, with a little bit of a joke, right?
Yep. No, I like it. Yeah, I made the mistake of using an industry term for sure. So what other pointers do you guys have while we close this up?
I think the listing partner concept is one of the hardest to explain to people, just because it is new, especially for this area. And yeah, along the same lines, usually based on the data that most people are concerned about the closing date and closing on time, I like to kind of work that emotional angle, and I'll do something like, okay, I can set you up with Mark, and Mark's partner, Kirsten, is going to come out and take a look at your home. What's a good time for that to happen? And they give me that time, and I'll be like, she's just going to walk through, make notes of any improvements and some details on the property. She might take some pictures. They won't be used in marketing. And, after that, she'll take all that data back. We're going to run it through our pricing software and come up with that price range on what you guys would expect to get if you were to list this summer. And then along with that, depending on the price, we can estimate, get a rough estimate of when we would expect you to get an offer and when you could close on your home.
I like that. Yeah, that's good. It's simple. I think the big thing is people get complicated. I mean, I overcomplicated it, and so it's the better it is for when it's simpler. So the simpler, the better, for sure.
And if people give an objection to the listing partner coming out, I usually just push that we like some time to prepare that price, because there's usually a day or two gap between when the listing partner goes out and when they sit down with that listing agent, and just say, yep, they run those comparables so that you can see the trends of pricing in your neighborhood and how it compares to everything that's sold in your area.
And one last thing. So what we went over today is our process on how we set up the appointment. Jim touched on it briefly before. While getting to this point is very important, and having that conversation smoothly is important, it's imperative that you set those reminders for the agents and that you send something as well immediately following, because as Jim stated, if unless this appointment is happening in the next 6 hours, they need to feel like the other person is immediately on top of this and doing it. So you got to make sure that those other steps are taking place, and that ups the percentage of them actually coming in and signing a contract by a ton.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Well, yeah, so I think we have some pretty good takeaways from today. Do your language as simple as possible. Make sure there's a lot of good handoffs. Make the agent the expert, and make sure there's handoffs in there for intro calls, intro emails, things like that. So from all of us to all of you guys, hope you have a good day. We are the Leads Geeks, and we're out. Goodbye.